So we just had another day where the markets panicked initially, well, yesterday, but then they returned to normalcy today. And all the while, news came up about Jamaica and its first case of COVID, but then you also had a case where up north there in Florida, in Port Everglades, apparently some cases of corona were also found. Last night, a friend of mine from Panama sent me a video with them also announcing a lady is being quarantined. Pretty much the whole belief that coronavirus could not exist or thrive in warm weather is being debunked by the day. But yet, everybody's very concerned about the health implications, which is fine because it's all interrelated. But I beg everyone, an economic plan for the after effects of corona, particularly with the fact that we are a small developing economy, is paramount. I see some people criticizing the Prime Minister of Barbados, although today she made some announcements. Today, I don't even remember today's date, I'll be honest, but she made some announcements that were rather encouraging. And I'll say this, even though rather encouraging in intent, but a plan has to be in place for a number of reasons that I visited on a video before. Number one, we know that Barbados is fully dependent on imports. 80% of our economic activity is based on consumption, all right? Like, get that in your head. And over 45% of all economic activity is somewhat related, well, it's imported, but everything else is related to imports. Imports have a greater economic impact than tourism. So even though we might wish to, as I saw online on Facebook, ban some people from coming to Barbados for 19 days, one proposal I heard, I would also caution, although I'm not necessarily supporting that, I would want to caution persons that coronavirus can be imported, for lack of a better term, into the country through other means. It just has to come down to cleanliness, to hygiene. And if you've got persons on ships coming here who may be sick to drop off our imports, I mean, what do you think? And this also relates to energy. We import all, well, not all, I'm lying, but the majority, the gross majority of our energy needs, and they're human beings on ships that are handling that stuff out there. And although, yes, natural gas and I guess oil to an extent is more so oil, is actually offshore and funneled from offshore onshore, I can tell you all straight up, that some human contact in terms of manifest and whatnot is also done. So bear in mind that no country can actually protect itself from the coronavirus in a way that everybody thinks. It will go wherever there are people and wherever persons are not taking their hygiene seriously. It will go where you might just absentmindedly do some stuff. And a contingency plan is needed for afterwards, because it's being said in China, people may have recovered, the economy itself has recovered, the society has recovered. Yes, we're glad that pollution has been basically affected, I guess so, positively or negatively, depending on how you look at it. But persons are now making their way back out to work, and China is being met with a reverse kind of situation, because initially they had to reduce output, and it's led to the sliding in the stock market. It's led to some cases of economic collapse. And in the case of Italy, it's led to a reduction of tourist travel and major foreign exchange for them. And I can tell you, with respect to China, you will see that they're going to have a tough time recovering. Not just because that they're the first out of the gates and that they had a bad time with the coronavirus, but definitely because the rest of the world is now kind of catching up in terms of the negative and ill effects of coronavirus outbreaks. And what that means for China is that in the long run, well, medium term really, for the remainder of the year possibly, you would see that China is going to have a tough time exporting, simply because economies are going to become a bit more inwardly closed. As like is being proposed here with a ban of online on social media with a ban on travel in and out of the country. It's not really logical in my view, but more so from the fact that like countries like Italy, people want to become Italy closed, and China depends on imports, us importing, them exporting to us. And that's going to have a knock-on effect because the global economy is going to be driven by China as time goes on. It will recover, but in the near term, businesses will close, and that will have a knock-on effect for many a manufacturing company in the world, many countries like Britain that depends on Chinese growth and Chinese investment, many a country that depends on Chinese investors all over when you think about it. They may very well want to cut back on some investment projects and focus inwardly on their own recovery. So I mean, although I'm not going to speak to the health implications here in the Caribbean, I'm not known for that, I'm not qualified to speak of that at all. I can say, this thing is going to be tough. But, as with all things, we will recover. See you all. Bye.